Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's episode of Sold Exclamation Point. Don't got a lot of stuff today, but some cool items, so there's that. We're gonna have to start our video with the same topic I started out the last one, but this time it's tragedy instead of victory. Um, Griffey Artist Proof. Right after the video, right after the last video, I'm admiring it. I pull it out, and the listing said 4 sharp corners, and whatever. But I figured it would be in reasonable condition. I don't need it. I don't. I'm not. I had no plans on grading it. When I got it, there was a ding in the bottom right corner. But again, I wasn't gonna grade it, so wasn't super happy about that. But whatever. I look on the back, and there's a bunch of graphic loss. This year's Pinnacle, like if you were to buy a pack right now, an old pack, it really likes to stick to the card next to it. And sometimes when you peel it, like graphic, like color will come off. So I saw that, and I was like, oh, okay. And then I pull it out to look at it a little closer, and I look at the 2 bottom corners, and there's these huge bends in the corners. So it doesn't make a crease, but it's like that on both of the bottom corners. And I'm like, what? So I'm like, okay, so I'm not real happy with the condition of this card. Under no circumstances this 4 sharp corners, but there's not another one for sale. I've been waiting well over 20 years to get this card. I really don't want to send it back. I sent a message to the seller. I'm like, hey man, I'm not asking for a return or a partial or anything, but this isn't cool, man. There's 2 big bends on the bottom of the corner. On the bottom of both corners, there's graphic loss, and there's a very noticeable ding that you can't see in the picture, but anybody who's around cars for more than a week would be able to notice, that ding. So whatever. A couple days later, he sends me a response, and he's like, "Well, I inspect all my cards very closely, and thank you for calling me out on this, but I do it very close." I'm like, "Why are you lying to me? You obviously didn't look at this card, or you knew it was there, and just came up with some nonsense about the sharp corners." And so I was gonna leave him a negative. I hate leaving negatives. I think they're particularly damaging to sellers. And I'm like, you just earned yourself a negative. And the more I thought about it, I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna leave him a negative, but I am gonna return this card. I don't understand why his response wouldn't be, "Wow, I'm really sorry. I didn't realize, I didn't look at it super close," which I would believe because, the corners, the light's got to hit it and then it becomes blatantly obvious. But if you would have said, I just looked at it real quick and it looked good, so I sent it. That I would have been like, okay, and I probably would have kept the card. I probably would have been like, okay, yeah, I guess. But he's like, I inspect it super close. No, you don't. Why are you lying to me? It's an obvious lie. So, no longer will I have this particular artist proof. I'm going to have to keep an eye out for another one. If anybody's got a lead on one that would be at least an 8, Because it would grade out like at a 4 or a 5. That's how bad the corners are. And yeah, it's just a bad condition card. But if anybody's got a lead on one, let me know. So I made myself feel a little better. I went to check out my cards, and I added maybe 15 cards to my 05-06 Finest Basketball Refractor set. I'm working on the base set. I'm only missing 1 card, Brandon Waugh. Only one person in the entire world will understand. Well, maybe a couple. But I'm missing Brandon Waugh from my silver set. I got maybe half the red refractory set and maybe a third of the green refractory set. I added a bunch of green commons, and then I bought the museum collection of that Griffey, and I bought the base off of Check Out My Cards. So, now I have, instead of 1/3 of the rainbow, I have 2/3 of the rainbow, but I don't have the heavy hitter in the rainbow. So I'll hopefully I'll be able to complete that set and get it framed up and hung sooner rather than later. Let's get into sales. All right, got 2 pennants. First one is a vintage White Sox. I'm gonna say it's early 80s. I don't think it's quite 70s. 26 for that. It's in actually pretty nice condition. There's a little bit of staining on the tip, but it doesn't take away from the pennant. Next up is a Bud Grant Day. These are extremely popular. They're not super rare, but they're really popular. So anytime I have one, it sells pretty quick. This one is in reasonable condition. It's got some staining. It's got some heavy creasing. It's got some yellowing. Overall, it's definitely worthy of being hung. It's just, lower grade. I tend to get upwards of 40, 45 for these in mint condition. And then my price will change based on the condition of the item. This one I got 20 for it. So about half off, a little over half off. Unfortunately, I feel kind of bad because there's only one listed on eBay. And I think he saw my price and was like, oh, okay. And he got it for 18. But his is in really nice condition. So a little tip. Especially when you're dealing with something where condition is king, and maybe that's the theme of this episode, you gotta go and look and see what the condition of that item you're using for comparable is. If you got a mint condition Bud Grant Day, and there's only one other one listed, and I think it was probably listed for 20, and you need to click on that and go, is this one mint condition? Is it beat up? No, mine's not beat up, but it's not mint, it's not white. It's got creasing. It's got some staining. So I or maybe he didn't see mine at all, and that's just his price. In which case, it's severely underpriced. So if you if you want one of these, go buy it from that guy while he's still underpricing it. Next up, let's do this. This is kind of a cool Timberwolves shirt. Yeah, it's 97, so it's still vintage, but it's not a super popular type of shirt. It's a Henley collar, and it's just got the patch on the breast, which I tend not to buy. I find them to be kind of boring. But this was a client's item. They do sell. I'm not saying they don't sell. 13, so didn't sell for a lot. Right. Martin Lawrence. This is part of that collection where it was stored. It was stored like this for 20 years, and so you can see. Maybe you can't see. Oh, there you go. So you can see the discoloration on the fold. I think it'll clean up somewhat. The buyer was asking me if I thought it could be cleaned up fully. I told him I didn't think so because I do think some of the discoloration isn't just dust, but it's light exposure, and so there's always going to be some sort of fade. So this hat I got 42 for it. If it would have been in mint condition, I would have been at probably 150 on it. So condition really drove it down, but again, I guess this is a condition episode. So here's the other way I would look at it too. Here's a Martin hat. It's extremely rare. None for sale. Dripping in pop culture and vintage pop culture. Big defect on it. And that's a big defect. That's a real major defect. A lot of people would go, oh, just put $10 on it. Why? It's super rare. The guy adding this to his collection, I think, based on our conversation, he needs it in the collection because he can't find another one. And not to say that they don't exist. It's not a one-on-one. I hate it when people say that about hats. There's no such thing other than a sample that they made one of. It's just there's not a lot of them for sale on eBay at the moment. And then somebody finds a case of them, and you know, now there's 20 brand new ones, which by the way still isn't a lot of supply. Um, so give it some perspective. Say, well, what would I sell it for in mint condition? In this case, I would have put 150 on that, and maybe I take something north of 100, 110, 115. If it's been sitting for a little while. So if that's the case, then even with this defect, I'm not selling it for nothing. That's crazy talk. So as you can see, I still got 42 for a hat with a major defect. Next up, Strapback. It's got a split color. Sort of weird design. The Strapback's got tags, so it's dead stock. I think it's twins. Yeah, it's just a twins enterprise. But if you got a twin collection, it's probably not a whole lot of them. But $10 for that one. There's nothing particularly collectible about it other than it's a different design. This is cool. So this is a Minneapolis Miller snapback, probably made in the 90s based on the tag. Maybe a little newer. Maybe early 2000s. Not a lot of Minneapolis Miller stuff for sale. So while this hat isn't super collectible, there's just not a lot of Miller's hats. They're just not a ton of them. So 39 for this guy. It's a real nice script design too. Very popular. The design is very popular now. Next up, we got a stadium giveaway. This guy is reflective, so at night or when you shine a light on it, it glows. So that's kind of cool. Stadium giveaway went for 17. So cool hat, but I think it's in the last 2-3 years, and I don't think it's super popular. So $17. It's always cool for a hat. Last item is a poster, so I'm not going to show it to you. It's not a particularly collectible poster. It came out 2010, 2011. It's Justin Morneau reading a book about Joe Mauer, so it's kind of a fun poster. So it'd be really good for a teacher to buy it in a classroom, or just if you're a Twins fan, it's a cool poster. 16 for that poster, and that's what we got today. Sorry, I had to start it out with a little bit of tragic tragic occurrence, but I'll get that artist proof, and I'll complete the rainbow sooner rather than later. I'm real excited about getting the museum collection coming in on the base cards. So thanks for watching. Have a great day, and hopefully I'll see you guys tomorrow.